Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH. So this is partially going to be a review and also another rant. So what I wanted to do was, I have really been going back around this time of year. I love 2000s horror. I'm enjoying it more and more the farther we get away from it. And the movie I wanted to talk to you guys about today was 2006's The Hills Have Eyes. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember this one. Now listen, when it comes to the original, The Hills Have Eyes, I think that movie was a masterpiece for that time. I think that movie probably shocked audiences during that time. I mean, it's so funny when we think of Wes Craven as kind of this upper echelon, and I say this lovingly, but more of like that turtleneck, kind of more sophisticated guy. When you think about his movies, I feel like that's the sense people get, mostly from his personality too, maybe more so that than his movies. But when you look at some of his bigger movies, like Hills Have Eyes is such a down and dirty Rob Zombie film, well before Rob Zombie was ever Rob Zombieing, if you get my drift. And I love that about Wes. I love Wes. I absolutely, positively think Wes Craven is a master of horror. And his imprint in early 70s with The Hills Have Eyes and Last House is, are you kidding me? It's actually insane when you think about the movies he did that predated a lot of the classics we know, like Friday, Halloween. So Wes really is one of those guys. I mean, Wes predated Texas Chainsaw, at least with one of those. I think I think Last House came out before even Texas Chainsaw did. So my point is, Wes really is that guy, you know? So, but in the 2000s, these horror remakes were coming, whether we liked it or not. I mean, I lived it. I'm sure a lot of you watching this lived it. There's some ones that are good. There's some ones that are bad. And it's interesting. Like, I always liked The Hills Have Eyes, the original, a lot. The remake was not one I saw in theaters. As a matter of fact, I don't think I really watched it until maybe like 2011, when I really got into horror big time. By that point, it had been a couple years, but I remember buying Hills Have Eyes. Actually, it was more like this DVD of The Hills Have Eyes. And I remember thinking to myself, you know what, damn, this was like really good. It does take a few different approaches with the story in terms of characters and stuff like this, but I really like this one. Now, you've got your family, they're going cross country through the desert to get to California on a trip. Very much kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. They're going through Texas to go through a trip, though. But in this one, they're going through the desert. Now, the opening of this film, I have to say, is brilliant. I love it. You've got these ballistic technicians out in the desert with their hazmat suits on, and all of a sudden, these suckers come out of nowhere, and one of them that has this very much like a Jason Voorhees look from like part 3, just raises hell, slams these guys, throws them up with the pickaxe. It's intense. Then you see their bodies get drug off in the truck. You know, it's funny, like, did this stuff really happen? Were there small civilizations out in the deserts where they were doing all this kind of nuclear testing and these people get left behind in this radioactive wasteland? I wonder. I love the opening. It's super intense, and I always like the family aspect of this one. You know, you've got the husband that's the husband to the oldest daughter of the family. He's very much the tech. And it's so funny because they even make a political joke in here where the dad, he's very much like the blue collar. I think he was a detective. And he even makes a joke at one point. He's like, don't give him the gun. He's a liberal. He doesn't believe in guns. It's so funny. Back then, we could joke about politics. Now, politics is such this hot button topic. If this movie came out today, they'd strike that joke from the record book. But, you know, I like the dynamics of the family. You've got a little bit of friction there. And that's the thing I think that works with this movie is the elements with the family draw you in before shit starts hitting the fan. And I think that's crucially important. You know, because if your crux is just, okay, here's the villains, they're creepy, they're mean, then movies like Saw wouldn't work at all. I mean, you have to care about the people and the stories for these movies to really work to at least a certain extent, and I love this. Also, I didn't realize it till this time. My wife actually says, that's Buffalo Bill as the dad. I was like, no, it's not. Sure enough, that was him. Like, he completely changes his persona for this. I didn't even realize that was him, so that kind of shocked me because he's so different in this movie. Definitely some uncomfortable scenes in this movie too. I mean, I think you guys know what I'm talking about when these hill people invade the Airstream midway through the film with the women on there. And man, it's like, I think those scenes, while not pleasant, are somewhat of a necessary evil. I mean, these movies were having to push the boundaries in the 2000s to really show the audience this is intense, scary stuff. I mean, look at the competition during this time. This was right in the throes of Hostel, Saw, all these movies that were just pushing it to try to get the audiences to react. By the 2000s, they were having to go for it. So I feel like that those scenes, it's not like you enjoy watching them by any stretch, but this is horror. This is the horror genre. Those scenes are a necessary evil, I feel, because when I was watching it, man, you talk about making me feel uncomfortable. I felt freaking uncomfortable. The movie feels like a super big budget version, and obviously with a name attached to it, of like the Wrong Turn films, which clearly had some inspiration from Hills Have Eyes. I think that's pretty obvious. Now, I like the Wrong Turn films, but I couldn't help but kind of correlate those two. Now, watching this, I was like, man, this feels like it's a Wrong Turn movie to a certain extent. Is this movie better than the original? I think it kind of is in a certain way. It has different hurdles. This movie has the hurdles of trying to stick out and you know, stand on its own 2 feet in the throes of not only the torture porn gore excess era in the 2000s, but also the remake era. They were coming, so there was two aspects that this thing had to kind of stick out with, and I think it does. I think the hurdles are different for the remake than the original. The original was just a trailblazer, so the hurdle was just really getting itself noticed and having a long-lasting effect. But I like the remake. I think it's just as good, probably a little bit more enjoyable than the original. That's not to say that I don't think the original is a 70s classic masterpiece, because it stood the test of time clearly. But yeah, I like it, and I really love the end, where you get to see this amazing battle between that one hill guy that reminds me of like Jason Voorhees, and then that nasty guy with that big head. Oh, the brain guy, oh, he is disgusting. And those scenes in the house with all those, you know, creepy looking sets, that barren wasteland is just fantastic. I love it. So I think that this remake is solid. Is it the best of the 2000s? Maybe not. Maybe not. But is it one of the better ones? Absolutely. I think that this is a great horror remake from the 2000s. And I'm going to do a top 10 2000s horror remake video. And don't be surprised if you see this one in there. So I love this. So I pulled out my Blu-ray, and this was initially just going to be a review. But when I started to think about this, I was getting more and more annoyed. I went on eBay, I went on Amazon to start looking this up so I could share like links if people wanted to buy this. And then I learned that this is 20th Century Studios, which basically tells you one thing. This is owned by Disney. So lo and behold, if you want to just buy this movie right now, you could get the DVD. The DVD is available. But if you want to buy the Blu-ray of this movie, oh my God, this just pisses me off. Disney is just killing horror movies. This release right here, I didn't realize that it was like a collector's item to a certain extent. Now, what is this? This is a chunky box release right here, and it has Hills Have Eyes and then Hills Have Eyes 2, which I'm excited to revisit. I haven't revisited this movie in years, so I'm going to watch that one next. But yeah, apparently if you want to get these movies, you have to pay out-of-print eBay prices. And if you want this box set, it's going to cost you around 50 or 60 bucks on average. What the hell? This is ridiculous. I really wish, if Disney just doesn't care about physical media, especially stuff under the 20th Century banner, that like Sony does get its hands on it, or Arrow. I think Arrow will be a great home for this title. Of course, we're seeing Arrow doing the Platinum Dune stuff. They did the Last House on the Left remake. It would be great to see them take this movie and do a nice 4K, because I do think that this movie would look great restored, because it's completely outdoors. It's just beautiful, real sunlight hitting those cameras. Those cameras are able to pull back what they allow in, and it would just look phenomenal. But unfortunately, this is out of print. If people want this, they got to pay ridiculous prices for it. And I get it. Not everybody's going to want the DVD of this movie. They want to see it in high definition. Totally get that. But people are screwed now because of 20th Century Fox being owned by Disney. It's bullshit. I'm so annoyed by stuff like this, guys, because, listen, I don't think streaming is necessarily the enemy. It's the way the studios use streaming that makes it, because other companies like Shudder, they know that streaming is how they get movies out to the masses, but then they love to do physical media. I got no problem with that. Even Netflix may be changing up their model because we saw that they did this K-pop anime movie and it's making millions of dollars at the box office. So maybe they say, hey, we'll put this out on DVD. It'll probably sell well too. But Disney and 20th Century Fox don't give a rat's ass. We're seeing movies get lost and buried, and now The Hills Have Eyes, when it comes to high definition, is completely lost and buried on physical media because of Disney, and it's bullshit. So not only was this just a review on the movie, but I wanted to rant at how ridiculous this is, that this movie has to be out of print on high definition. It sucks. And I think part 2 is even rarer. So, I mean, if this set may be the only way you can really make that happen. I can't say that, you know, I should tell people not to get this. If you can find this at a great price, I mean, the Blu-ray actually looked really good for Hills Have Eyes. I thought it looked really good. Can it look better? Of course, you know. I think they could do much better encoding on the Blu-ray just alone on that fact. But if you do a restoration from 4K from the negative, it'll look phenomenal. So, I don't know, guys. I'm just so annoyed by the antics that Disney has with physical media. It's absolute bullshit. So guys, above anything else, I love the movie first, so definitely see it. If you want to get the DVD cheap, go for that. If you can find this at a good price, this double pack is pretty cool. I mean, it's actually nice for being a studio release, the fact that they put it in this case like this and sold it as this bundle. So there you go, guys. That's it for now. The Hills Have Eyes 06 is a great remake, but Disney does not want you to own this damn thing on Blu-ray, apparently, because it's out of print. So Disney, kiss all of our collective asses.
Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.